taking the oath of the appointment of boards for your directorship of the Roseland Municipal Advisory Council. So please say aye.
Aye.
State your name.
William Spartan.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and that I will well
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
I moved on to the Chief Administrative Officer, and now I'm acting superintendent, and the acting goes away in just about a month. But I've been there almost 3 years. So we've done a lot of great things, and some of the things that we've done have to do with facilities and the community. And so I wanted to come tonight and talk a little bit about that. First thing I wanted to mention was United Street Park. United Street Park is completed. We took over United Street Park from the Water District. At the time, we needed to kind of revamp the park and update it a little bit. So some of the things that we invested in the park, we invested around $300,000. And the things we did was we replaced the entire new sprinkler system. We also took care of the controls and replaced the controls for the sprinkler system. We did some minor grading. We did seeding and aeration of the property over a period of time, breaking it up into 3 sections and closing parts of the park just so that it can still be used. We did all new fencing around the park and created new openings for the park, and we put in parking lot barriers. Before there used to be big rocks and pretty big. We put in parking lot barriers as well as a special gate for those using the sports teams that use the container that's there. And then finally, we left all the donation signs from the previous items that were there, which was a little tot lot and as well as a bench. And then we replaced the apparatus in the top lot, and we put in new flooring for the top lot. And that alone, just to give you an idea, that alone ran us about $70,000. So, and then finally, I think it was just 3 or 4 weeks ago, that top lot was open, and we put in our dog signs and our little, you know, keep the park clean dog signs with the plastic bags and stuff there. So we're completely done. Future items for United Street Park will just have to do with the parking lot at this point. It looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of grading in the parking lot. There's been some erosion in the parking lot from the rain. We'll do some grading there on the decomposed granite, but we have no plans right now to actually go ahead and put in pavement of any sort. But so that's completed, and actually before we went on Christmas holiday break, I drove by there and there were kids playing, so I was very happy to see that the top lot's open, and we're using the same rubberized flooring that is done in our kindergarten area at the West Park Elementary School, and it's really great stuff.
And that's a requirement by the schools to have that kind of
Oh, you need some sort of a rubberized, where sand is no longer allowed, so you need some sort of rubberized flooring. A lot of people use the broken up tires and things like that. We actually put in actual flooring. It's not tile, it's a true pour. So an area as big as this, we would actually pour about a 4-inch slab of rubberized compression. And so it's nice and soft, kids fall down, they can't get hurt. And now everything meets DSA requirements, as well as the fencing and the gates meet DSA requirements, and the park is open and ready to go. We're real happy about that. We will be closing down the park throughout the year. Every year, we will close it down in fourths, 25%, so that we can either reseed, aerate, and take care of it and let the grass be able to regrow, because we do have soccer and youth football on there, and we are afraid that, you know, too much use, not just by the neighbors but by the sports teams, you know, can wear the park out. So in order to keep the park beautiful and also make it so that we don't have a lot of divots and things where kids get hurt, we will be closing down the park throughout the year in quarters, giving it 60-day rest here. And as well as you know, we've had West Park Elementary School open for quite some time, and yet the field that should be next to it, all green and able to use, has been just dirt. I'm sure the homeowners who first bought their homes there were promised a park, and unfortunately that never happened, and I'm sure that they are looking forward to having a park there. So to give you an idea, we have a little under 5 acres to deal with, and here is the artist rendering. So what we will be building, we will be, if you can see, this is Imperial Avenue here. The existing school is here with the black top and the basketball courts right here. So this is the existing tot lot that we have. We have an apparatus there right now, and that's existing. The only thing that's going to happen in that corner, we're going to be putting in some more foliage, some more trees and things like that. This area here, and you can see how long we've been working on this, this area here that was actually going to be just a grass area is now our pre-K program. So that's where our preschools are right now. So that actually won't be a grass area. That is a restricted area for preschool only. We will be having an athletic field. It will be sod. We will not be doing any hydro seeding or regular seeding. We will be actually bringing in sod for the actual field. And a 15-foot track will surround the field, and that 15-foot track will be decomposed granite, just made just like an athletic track. So our students during the day will be able to use it to do PE, and then in the evenings, obviously, we have a large fence that goes across here. We will close the gate to the school here, and the gates to the park will remain open for the public once school closed, all the way to the next morning, where they will be locked up again, and it will be open all weekend long for the public to use. We will have access gates off of here in Imperial, 2 places in Imperial, one just for the top lot, one in the center here. We will also have access gate on 40th Street and Holiday Avenue. We will also be supplying the park, and it will be off to the side here. There will be an area where we will have portable backstops for softball, Little League, T-ball, little girl softball. This park right now, we do not have any plans of allowing soccer on this field. We're going to try to keep it for our Little Leaguers and our girls softball and our youth football. There's a reason for that. Because currently, our young people of the community time at the end of the summer. This is the new Roseman Elementary School that we will break ground on sometime this summer. It's a $24 million school. It will house 1,200 students. We're real proud of this. We have to thank the community for it. The community blessed us with granting us our bond, so we will be able to use that. However, we're hoping for a 50-50 match from the state. They currently are putting $300 million into the 50-50 match program, and we are one of the first in line for it. So we will probably be using anywhere from $12 to $14 million of our own money for this. In this projection, you can see this is the parts of the current Roseman Elementary School. These are the buildings that are permanent buildings and designed to hold approximately 250 to 300 students. All buildings, in addition to those buildings, are portable buildings. All those buildings will be removed, and the rest will remain the district office. And they will be revamped. These buildings will be revamped to the district office. Things like the cafeteria and multi-purpose room will turn into the new boardroom and some offices in there. So we'll be using that area too. So this will be where our new district offices will be. This will be the new elementary school. The entrance to the elementary school will be right now what is known as the service driveway between us and the park at the district office. Some of the things that we get a lot of questions on is how are buses going to go in, where are they going to exit, and what are you going to do on the road? Well, we had to obviously work with Kern County and the roads, and right now we are going to widen the entrance to Glendower Street. That is a requirement of DSA in the county. We have to pay for that ourselves. We'll be widening that. Buses will be still coming down Glendower Street as they do now. They will enter where currently the district office is, and they will exit over here on Desert Street. And so there won't be any turnaround anymore like they do now. Now they go in, they park, they kind of back in, and then they have to kind of back out, and then they go, which is really fun in the morning for them. So what we're going to do is we actually have bus drop off, and then they will exit here on Desert Street. We, currently, there is no plans, although we are petitioning the county roadworks, there is no plans to add another street light here at Glendower. And we feel that that would be a benefit to the community if we did. However, the answer that we're getting, just so that you know, is that would give us multiple street lights within a certain time, with a certain distance. And you know, our answer is, hey, sync them up and we won't have a problem, right? So, there goes my pen. Anyway, so this school will have a brand new library, multi-purpose room, obviously offices here. We will have a large kindergarten area and preschool area, and then the main school will be centered here, and then we will have obviously a redesigned athletic area as well as field. If you can kind of take a look at what's going on right now, is right here is the current district offices. So the first thing that has to happen is we have to move, and they have to bulldoze the district offices. In front of you on your table, that is going to be the new footprint of the district offices. That's where the skate park was, and we have surveyed the land already, and we are in the process of starting to build the infrastructure. We will be pulling our water lines from our transportation department, which is right behind that area. We will actually be taking electricity directly from the poles, and we will be pulling charter cable from the high school for our data and our infrastructure. So that will be done those are portable buildings, that footprint. We plan on being at that area for approximately 2 years. So those are the big picture plans for our next couple of projects. Once we break ground with Roseman Elementary School, we currently have approval of DSA plans to expand Tropical Middle School, as well as plans who have not been fully approved yet, that are in the process of being approved, to expand our high school. So those are the two plans. In addition, we're looking at other places to possibly open an additional school. So that's some of the things that we have in our plans. As far as the West Park, which is our first park, we are currently on Wednesday of next week, the board of directors will approve the MOU between us and the Lancaster School District. Once that is done, I will sign off on the bonds and the contracts with High Desert Contractors, who are construction crew, and they have 10 days to break ground. It is a 120-day project, but because we are going to be with sod, unfortunately the kids who are currently at West Park in 5th grade will not get to play on that turf. It will not be open probably until June, and our school year closes in May. So that's so unfortunately they won't get to experience it, but you know, everybody else will get to experience next year, and of course those kids who live in the neighborhood will be able to go there, and hopefully on weekends, and when they play their sports and everything, they'll be able to do that. So that's kind of our timeline there. And again, we expect to move our district offices to the new footprint sometime in the summer, and as soon as we're done moving into the summer, I mean literally as soon as we're done, the bulldozers are going to come and bulldoze the existing DO office, and we're going to start. So that's kind of the timeline. Any questions on any of that?
And it's no plan, it's sticking to it. So
yeah, master
that's
plan
my
for
only,
the, no, a master plan for the community.
Yeah, that's my only thinking, and I told Rod about this a long time ago, and I know this school has to have so much property for how much building space it has and all that kind of stuff, but I said, it just would make sense to maybe change right there and get out of the main drag of town for the school, you know. And the other thing is like the district office is in like about maybe 3,000 square feet, and you're talking about putting it in 100,000 square feet.
Well, the district office currently now, yeah, is to expand. We do need to expand.
Yeah,
we are growing. We
know
need to expand. But at the district office, we also have our new special ed program. So some of those buildings will actually still be classrooms.
So that's what you're calling district office?
Yeah, so
not
the
just
district office now
offices.
even has
Right.
classrooms,
Okay.
and so what we have a special ed program that's for our emotionally disturbed children, and it's doing fantastic. In fact, other schools in the Antelope Valley are sending their kids to it. So
it's not just the business part of it?
no, it won't just be the business part.
Right.
Right. Well, one of the things with master community plans and everything would be coming from our state and our county. Unfortunately, when we get funded as a school, we don't have the ability to sell used assets that are currently being used. The only thing that we can apply for is to sell assets that are not being used. So that means we would have to build this, we'd have to buy 10, 12 acres somewhere, bring the infrastructure there, build it, which would exceed our costs and our budget for this particular school. So that's why we're currently staying on it. Our Board of Education did look at other sites, and the expense was just too much. So we decided to just keep with this. One of the things we do is when we do bonds or sell bonds, it's based on asset value of the district. And unfortunately, Roseman, even though we're gaining huge amounts of asset value from the alternative energy projects that come around, we are still well below what they have in Palmdale or Lancaster and other areas, where it allows them to sell a larger amount of bonds and then be able to use that money to buy land and for future sites. Right now, currently, we only have one other piece of property that is very far out west, other than United Street Park is the only other non-school property that we own. That's why we are looking right now. We're looking to buy property, so that's one of the things we are looking to do.
And why don't you want to expand to the United Street part?
There is a fault that goes too close to there, and I'd only be able to use 4 acres of the 10 acres.
Oh, okay.
We're setting up a committee for the finances, right?
Oversight committee. So yeah, so whenever a school does a project, a construction project that is bonded by the general community, which obviously a school of that size is, an oversight committee oversees progress reports, as well as we have CPA auditors that come in and actually do an audit each 6 months of the expenditures, and they do a report back to the oversight committee to make sure that the bond is being spent on the school properly.
School district is to trade soil with them, is that right? Or
Not to trade soil, we are actually removing soil, and we are not paying for the soil, we are paying for them our contractor to go get the soil and bring it back here.
or get good dirt
Yeah.
instead of bleaching
And
soil?
it's going to be somewhere between 1,700 and 2,000 truckloads of soil. And the soil alone is estimated to run us about $600,000. The cost of removing the soil and bringing new soil in. But the actual soil from Lancaster School District, the actual soil itself is not costing us anything. They're happy to get rid of it.
How many truckloads?
About 2,000 truckloads max.
Is that Dan Sport size truckloads?
No, I think we'll probably a little bit bigger. But it's quite a project, and that's one of the reasons it's going to take 120 days. There's not much grading that has to be done other than the removal of the dirt and then bringing in the fresh dirt. I mean, if we were just to use what we have now, I mean, it's pretty flat, but yeah, that's the big project. That's
What depth are you going with the soil then?
3 feet.
And then, if Mr. Wright was to run around the track, how many times would he have to run around it to get a mile?
I have no idea. But I'll tell you what, we need one of those little camera things and another one around and count the feet and we can see what it is. I really don't know with the length of that track.
It's bigger than a quarter of a mile anyway, it looks like.
Yeah, it's close to about a little over 4 acres that will cover the circumference of 4 acres, so.
If I'm understanding correctly, the public will be able, say, to exercise on that field until school starts in the morning. And
Yes, so when school lets out, I believe West Park lets out between 1:30 and 1:30. So once the school lets out, we will open the gates of the park, and the park will be open until the following morning when our security goes around and checks all the gates. We will be locking those gates. And then once those gates are locked, they'll remain locked until they're opening in the afternoon. On the weekends, from Friday to Monday morning, obviously it'll be open. Any school breaks or holidays, it will be open. So when we are not using it, it is the public's park. I mean, we're building it not only for us, but we're building it for the community.
In the morning, approximately what time are you going to lock the gate? Because I know some people like to exercise.
It's between 6:30 and 7.
Okay, okay.
And hauling in equipment and hauling in all that stuff, if they come off the freeway, they're gonna make that left turn right there on,
We are waiting for the county works to give us the traffic pattern. Right now, we don't know if they'll be allowed on the freeway or we'll have to come up one of the streets. And we really have no idea. We will keep them off of Roseman Boulevard. You know, they're going to be coming from the south, but we are keeping them off of Roseman Boulevard. But again, the two issues during the construction is one is the routes of the truck, and two is dust control. And we made that very clear to them, that those are two, even though it's a very, very short period of time, probably a 30-day period, that there will be issues with dust control, but and those type of traffic with those trucks. We still, that was one of our biggest concerns in the bid, was that we having dust control, because they will be working during school hours.
Talk about the 2,000 truckloads coming in.
Yeah, so not only are we worried, I mean, the community obviously is always concerned with dust control. We're aware of that. But, and the homeowners there, I'm sure, will bite their tongues for the 120 days because we're actually increasing the value of the property by putting a nice park in there. But our main concern is the health and safety of our children, and they will be on campus. And so we may, some of you are old like me and probably remember smog days in LA, where you couldn't go during PE and recess out, and you had to go in, stay inside the classroom or the multi-purpose room, the gymnasium. And so we will be having probably dust control days for those kids, because we don't want them out there, you know, when the dust gets bad.
And is there any possibility that you're gonna have to come up Avenue A and grade a road from 35th all the way down to Avenue A or anything?
You have to use Roseman Boulevard.
We'll, you know, again, we'll have to see.
Well, I guess 35th is pretty rough anyway already, so maybe we had some sort of plan to let it run over it for another 120 days, and then when they're done with it, maybe that'd be the time to resurface 35th Street. Does that sound like?
We'll see.
Maybe Brian can mention that.
We want to keep them out of downtown, so if they do have to use Roseman Boulevard, they'll be coming from the west. So, but the issue really is we want to try to keep them out of downtown. Because obviously those trucks are not going to be, you know, dirt falls off the trucks. So we're doing
Sport is able to use downtown all the time without any problems.
Spill beer.
So yeah, so we're going to try to do our best, and we have, you know, we look like we start before they'll break ground, hopefully before the end of January, beginning first week in February, and so we have a 4-month window, and the park will be done.
And the dirt going out will go to Tropical. Okay.
Yeah, so we have some construction needs for that dirt in the future, so we'll be taking it to Tropical Middle School. And Tropical Middle School is, the campus has approximately 5 to 7 acres of land that surrounds the campus. That's our land, and we will be putting the dirt on that land. So it won't actually go on the existing campus, it'll go on the areas that are designed for the future campus, the bigger campus that we're going to be building. When you go through, there's 7 steps to a approval of DSA plans or CDE plans, and part of that goes to DSA, and then DSA, that's Department of Standards of Architecture, and that goes back down to the county and the works, the road works, and then they tell us what we need to do, and widening the Roseman Boulevard was not in their mandatory requirements.
So adding a little right turn pocket for maybe 3 or 4 car lengths would be, I think, pretty helpful, don't you?
I'm not a road expert, so I'm going to tell you that whatever is going to be best for my pocketbook and the community is what I want to do.
Maybe the county could purchase that from the school district and make that, Mr. Russ, could you put that in our request of things to do? Sure. If you had a right turn lane, it looks like it's going to be widened there anyway. If people need to be
Yeah,
turned
we
over.
are going, that was the mandatory request by the rules, so that when the right turns, one lane, two lane, but one lane going north, they asked us to widen that because the buses will be making right turns and they wanted it to be a widened area before it gets to the turnaround.
Or ask Mr. Pope to put a roundabout in there.
How about a roundabout for buses?
Well, for the traffic and everything, that'll get rid of the freeway problem, and it'll slow everybody down, which everyone asked for. Mr. Pope would have to decide that.
One thing I would like to add, Jeff, is, could we make sure that, the haul routes, once they get established and everything, is published in the local papers and stuff like that?
Absolutely. I'll make sure that.
Quite aware of the price of oil is going down. You guys can see it at the gas pumps. And everyone's probably real excited, I know I am, that I'm paying less at the gas pump. But the impact to the county, as far as our budgets, is pretty immense. This year, the hit is going to be about $40 million to the county's general fund due to the price of oil. It's about $50 a barrel is what it locked in at.
The Kern River crude usually sells for less than that anyway, right?
What was that?
Does Kern River crude sell for $50 a barrel, or?
I'm not aware of what that is.
Okay.
That means any department that's funded through the general fund could be impacted. This last year, most county departments had to go through 5% cuts to their budgets. And we're possibly looking at that in the future years to come to deal with this budget hit. Also in 2017, Laredo Jail is going to be opening up, which is going to cost the county about $25 million a year just to staff it, which is going to be another big.
I wasn't aware that they closed there. When did they
Well,
close?
the new jail they're building.
The new one, okay.
Yeah. Good news is KMC, I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware, Kern Medical Center has had issues in the past, and they were about $2 million, I believe, in the red per month about a year ago. The county hired a new CEO and CFO. Russell Judd is now running that hospital. And through the first quarter of fiscal year 2014 through 2015, which was July, August, and September, they were a couple $1 million in the black per month. So they're running that hospital a lot more efficiently now, and it's now becoming more of an asset to the county. On a brighter note, the Renew Biz program is back in full swing. The county had 70 grant applications from business owners and nonprofit people in Roseman, Mojave, Boron, and Old Town Tehachapi. And the county's going to be giving it $300,000 in grant money to these businesses to renovate their facades and look better. Also the Diamond Street project, which I think a lot of you guys are aware of its existence. It's a $1 million grant that the county got. It's a transportation enhancement grant funded through federal funds and state funding to renovate Diamond Street. They're going to go in and put in all new asphalt, sidewalks, and curbs and gutters. Street lights, I think about 40 street lights on Diamond Street, and all sorts of good things like that. The county is pitching in as well, and they're hoping to start construction, I believe, in late March and end in September. It's going to be a pretty great asset for the community, partnered with the Renew Biz money to help the businesses look better. So hopefully really help Roseman's downtown district in the future. And that's all I have, unless you guys have questions.
Are they gonna pave the center also? They were originally saying they're just gonna have a strip down each side.
Oh, I thought they were grinding it up and redoing the whole thing. I could find out for you though, Dan.
I never heard that they said they'd do that. Originally, they were gonna leave the center.
Okay, want me to find out for you?
Yeah, I'd like to know.
Okay, sure.
And then I read that the original bids came in at $2 million instead of 1.5.
Yeah, the bids came in about, the lowest bid was $500,000 more than we projected for. So a lot of people were worried that the county would kind of replan the project and take things out, so the bid would be lower, but we're not going to do that. We're going to find a way to fund it at the currently planned project. So Roseman's not going to lose anything in this. The county's just going to find a way to fund it.
Okay. And then you have the state of the county address. Is that sold out? As you saw, we had everybody here sworn in. We have 2 new board members. Mr. Bill Parkman, you want to introduce yourself? Maybe you have some family members, introduce them as well.
Well, I don't have any family here tonight, but I'm Bill Parkman, and I kind of just a little thumbnail sketch of who I am, what I am. Stuff is, I did 23 years in the United States Navy, retired as a Master Chief Petty Officer E9 in 1991. And went from that and the lovely confines of San Diego to working in Los Angeles on the Metro Rail project for Parsons Transportation Group. And worked with them for 10 years on that until they finished up most of the 3 phases of Metro Red Line. Then I moved from that over to working for a general contractor, Intertex General Contractors down in Santa Clarita as a project manager for them. Then came back over and started working for Citadel CPM doing construction management and worked on the Sun Valley High School conversion project in Sun Valley. And I finished up all of that in October of 2010 and basically have been retired since then, although I do work as a bookkeeper for St. Mary's Parish here in Rosamond.
We have a couple of businesses in town. I have a decomposed granite mine north of Albertsons out in the desert. I mine DG and ship it all over Creation. We have a business on Sierra Highway, Big Iron Construction and Landscape Materials. Kathy runs that, and we sell all sorts of landscape materials and so on. We have a new adventure. We have opened a store at NENAC out at 230th, and we're going to open, it's already open, it's a market and gas station, and a new adventure. There just wasn't enough to do in Rosamond. That's enough.
Okay.
My wife is here, Crystal, and our 2 sons, Austin and Brandon. That's my support group. I work for a little electrical company out of Palmdale, and been a resident out here for over 10 years.
Thank you, Justin. Nice to see you here, Crystal. And I'm Olive Lansgard. I'm an attorney here in town. I'm also former trustee on the Southern Kern Unified School District for 5 years, and now I'm a trustee or a director on the Rosamond Community Services District Board. And thanks to something in the law that someone pointed out to me, I can remain on the RMAC at the same time, which probably is good to do since we have a little transition going on here. And look forward to a good year, especially since I'm no longer one of the officers here. And Virginia, want to tell them about yourself?
Yes. Hello everyone, my name is Virginia Romo. I'm happy residence here in Rosamond. I have 3 teenagers. They're going to Tropical, and my husband. And
what's his name?
Tony Romo. I'm sorry, my name.
And did you take a picture of him with the Dallas Cowboy
Yes.
thing at the Christmas parade, and then published on Facebook?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm the Latino voice, and I like to help Rosamond for good things and very simple. Thank you.
Do you have a business you want to tell us about?
I have a business in Diamond Street. It's the water store, close to the hardware store. And thank you.
Still kind of a slow month. I do want to talk about, we have a community neighborhood watch meeting coming up here on January 21st at 6 o'clock at night. It's open to the public. Our Rosamond Community Watch is helping us put this on. We're going to have people there from our department, from the CHP, some base personnel, and fire department. So if you have questions, come talk to us. We'll be more than happy to talk to you. Substation, he's one of the investigators out here.
Welcome, Officer Vasquez.
Thank you.
We had our tour today, which is really interesting. Learned a lot about, I guess I'm in reverse order, the water bank, which is really fun. One thing I was not aware of, I know they had put the snip line in, and I was worried about, well, that's 6 miles away from the water bank. Well, the last year and a half, the water bank that Rosamond Community Service District participates in is a partner, and the ABEC Water Bank co-sponsored a line from 80th Street West to 140th Street West. And there's actually fresh water running back through the lines to the AVEC treatment plant, where they don't have to give it full treatment, they just have to chlorinate it, and it's ready for us to use. It opens up a lot of possibilities for Roseman in that the adjudication should be completed, not completed today, but the judgment should be signed off by 80% of the people as of January 15th. It's my understanding that was approved at the meeting last night was the stipulation for judgment. And the reason that's important is that unlike the Mojave River Basin, our basin has to have that kind of approval before the federal government can sign off. They have like 1/6 of the land. And because the McCarran amendment says, if you want to have a deal, 80% of people have to agree before we'll sign on to it. So that means I think that we'll be able to sign on to it too. If I'm missing anything, in the back there is the vice president of the Roseman Community Service District, Mr. Wallace. Feel free to chime in anytime, and I don't want to steal your thunder here.
No.
And he's been around a lot longer than I have on the board, so he knows what's been going on. Kind of reverse order, we also visited the tertiary water treatment plant. We had a lot of talk about where that plant goes and whether we can ever use that water, which costs more than regular water to get to the tertiary stage, which is drinkable, but we can't. Can we put it? It's just evaporating right now. It's not going anywhere. But it's quite a deal.
They did shut a lot of it down to save money.
Yeah, because we can't afford to operate it because it's not going where it needs to go. And we have, how many evaporating ponds are out?
I think 8, wasn't it?
I think, what, we have a total of 16 evaporating ponds. One of them works with the tertiary plant. The other 15 are just flat out evaporation, I
Yeah,
think.
some of them's been there for years.
Yeah, I remember that most of them have been there for the last 20 years, and there haven't been too much expansion there. The other thing, we got to go inside a 5 million gallon, or was it 2 million gallon water tank.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. They're just sanding off the rusty spots, and they're going to paint it over, and then once it's dry, it'll fill back up with water again. And now's the time of year to do it because there's not that much water being used to water lawns, etc. And I asked him about, well, what don't you worry about it staying fresh? And he says the community uses that 2 million gallons every 5 days. They go through that 2 million gallons, it rotates through, so it stays plenty fresh. And we started out the district office, and a couple other locations are going online today or next week with solar. And that's going to be a boon to the district. It's going to save us money in the long run. And both the district office and out the wastewater treatment plant and out at one of the well sites. That's the highlights. At the meeting, we had quite a few people there. I think we heard a presentation from the water bank people, and we also heard a presentation from someone who wants to ionize the water, basically using salt to take out chromium-6 down from a level of 13 parts per billion to 8 parts per billion. Is that pretty much a good summary there, Al?
And they said they could drop it to 2.
Yeah, we wanted to pay for that, I suppose. And they're just using salt, it sounds like. But
Arsenic too.
take the arsenic out. Yeah.
The salt is only used to take and regenerate the resin beads. The resin beads is what does it. They use the same thing in the coffee shop. If you want to taste what the water tastes like, you can taste it there because every coffee shop should have a resin bead filter. And to clean that filter, you fill it with salt. Then you run water through it until the salt water's gone. And then you got your beads are regenerated. The resin beads are. The resin beads is what attracts these particles. And then you rinse them. That's what he's talking about. You rinse that out, and that brine is what they haul off, but it has all the particles on.
Okay.
So it's not, the salt is the cleaner to regenerate the beads so you can use them again to collect more stuff.
Right now, they have a pretty hefty price tag on it, but it's a lot less than what they had before. We never had a problem until, I guess, the budget passed in May of last year, and they dropped the standard down from 50 parts per billion to 10 parts per billion on chromium-6. With handling the arsenic through blending, hopefully they'll get back to either common sense and get back to a reasonable level on chromium-6, but that may not happen given the makeup of the legislature. So we might have to look forward to spending more money on our water bills.
Didn't they say they take that there?
No, I think, mixed up. What they do is they take it down to LA.
Anyway, there's a lot going on there. The next meeting is January 29th. We moved the meeting time to 7 PM unless there's a closed session. I think there is a closed session. I'm supposed to start at 6 or not. I think we're still starting. No,
It's
actually,
gonna be afterward.
closed session is going to be afterwards. So it'll be after. So we're going to start at 7. Closed session will be afterwards. So if you're coming at 6, you're not going to see anybody there.
Because of lawyer.
Yeah,
Isn't that a Thursday?
it is.
Oh, okay.
A Wednesday night, Ryan just decided everybody should go to his meeting at the county, listen to the state of county address.
Got it.
So, we're still okay. Actually, I guess technically we're gonna meet on that, but it's gonna be tabled to, or adjourned to, whatever. Anyway, they gotta wait to do it. We can.
Can I ask the representative from the county a question? I talked to the road department man about the street cleaner, he's coming down my street, they don't come down anymore. Can you find out why? I was on 28.
Okay, I'll find out for you.
I seen him today over on Eagle Way.
Restroom facility. And then when Don Maven took over, I don't know what happened with that, but, or what happened with the monies, but the monies were set aside. And along with putting new tot lots and everything at Glendower, there was supposed to be a new restroom put there. As far as I know, it hasn't been done.
So there was the money earmarked for that then?
There was money earmarked for it
I'll find out for you.
when, before Don Maven.
Okay.
So that's been 8, 10 years.